So I forgot to do the beginning pages, leave those blank, and so my forward is at the end of my book. This is it. Basically, it's got my opinions on this particular subject of the journal. Not journal. Technically, we journaled in this notebook, so it's not a journal, it's a notebook that we use for journaling. Regardless, I've never been the strongest fan of notebooks or journals personally, mostly because one, ADHD makes it a little hard to keep up with things like that, especially on a day-to-day basis. But it's been a nice exercise, we'll put it that way. It has put a little strain on my muscles, but nonetheless, it was fun. Mostly just because I was drawing and writing for myself in ways that I thought I could understand. I apologize in advance if you do not, because a lot of these are somewhat, how do I put it, ramblings. But it did allow me to like flesh out quite a few thoughts and loose threads in my brain. I've got some sketches that I actually enjoyed doing. This one in particular is one that I'm a fan of. Gamma works wonderful. The crayons, still not sure how I feel about those. They were useful for coloring and quite saturated, which was nice, but I've typically been a black and white person when it comes to drawing, so it was a bit of an exercise there. It also allowed me to make some new characters based off of, and I go in this in the forward, but I started with one character named Zero, and I don't even, he's got a little small appearance. I actually had to get a second notebook because I ran out of room in the first one, and I am currently not at my apartment on the other side of the country, and I don't have that first notebook with me, but the second notebook does not have as much Zero, which was my original character, but I make a note because Zero actually sort of became a different character. Still not sure if his name is Zero or not, but same concept of just a little faceless guy that is easy for me to project emotions onto and easy for me to draw fast. And so I made a little joke about it in my forward where in the prompt it says to have your character respond to a little blurb you wrote about them, and I wrote in the beginning, Zero, my character, was a way to express myself in a more faceless, cynical manner, though in the end he looked a little different. That's what stayed the same. And so I've got a little Zero saying that looks nothing like me, while looking at the new version of Zero, and that new version saying call me lucky for it. And yeah. But the new version of Zero shows up quite a bit. He's actually my main character for a lot of it. I do have some side characters, but most of the time he had a little heart, and that was to show loss or love, a lot of things. I like to make things a little unclear for the person reading, but clear to me. Let's see. This was second appearance of the new Zero. I did do, there's another third. It was actually a bit of a challenge to figure out how to make him have emotions as a, blob with 3 holes in his face. But then again, isn't that what we all are? Just on the inside? But no, overall, it helped me write some good poems that I actually rather enjoy. It helped me figure out some nice visuals that I found to be useful. I'm not sure how I felt about the adding pieces of things in, just because having the different textures is a slightly uncomfortable thing for me, but overall, exercise is exercise. and it did provide for some interesting flash fiction, which is what a lot of my notebook was flash fiction and moments of, I guess, poetry and prose. There were moments that were much longer and moments that were much shorter, but I always did what I felt was necessary to go along with my drawings. Oh, here's some comics. The thing about this version of Zero that I liked more is he felt a lot less like a person, which is he was even less faceless. He was a much easier way to like identify with something, because it was mostly in the idea of the writing. It was a way to focus on what he's saying. Yeah, this is probably my favorite of the new Zero comics. And it's two zeros talking to each other, and one says, "Why do we love?" and the one on the left says, "Why not?" The one on the right is a little speechless until he says, "You make a fair point." And that's kind of the thesis of a lot of my love-based things, but the zeros were a way to just sort of put those into words. This one was, then the zeros were also an easier way to, explain my sadness and put it into a way that felt a little more detached. So like this one in particular was a six panel one, which I don't usually do comics out of 6 panels. They're usually 4 pages, but it goes, zero on the left says, "I wish I felt better," and the zero on the right says, "Why don't you?" And then the zero on the left says, "I guess I got used to not doing things." And the zero on the right said, "So now the idea of fixing them is scary." And the zero on the left says, "So instead of I do nothing," the one on the right says, "Because living with a knife isn't going to kill you is better than being afraid of bleeding out." And I like that line a lot. But yeah, overall, it was a nice little way for me to figure out ways to say the things I want to say without actually saying them, if you get what I mean. I enjoyed it, in short. So thank you for assigning it, and I hope it was just as fun for you. Thank you.
Cut.